Twitch. Got ourselves team 1 together with IVX. IVX? I guess I'm going to call it Ivy. Over on the Marksman, Leaf over on the, I think it's Survival. I'm seeing that Eagle. Stony over on the Paladina. I'm liking the set with the tabard, like the deep blue. That looks good. Also, how do you get the mount again? Is that the Dark Shore thing? I think this is a BFA mount, right? Chicago sporting the, I like that set. The champion of Kragwa. I actually like it a lot. And Wev over in the back is a pirate versus cool this. Over for the team 2. Ready to go with Jed. Is that Subtlety? That is Subtlety. Luck on the team. Meat Market, I guess, going to be first up. And next, also, waiting for his turn. Meat Man, competitor, straight out from Duratar versus Stony. Pally versus Pally. Stunned immediately by Stony. Wall up by Meat. Just trying to see if he can hold on to these cooldowns for a bit. Stony playing the big Crusade. So this is where Meat, also playing Crusade, knows that he's playing to the big Haymaker playstyle. He needs to maximize the damage, but also try to make sure he gets some immunity if he's ever going to blast on a Stony. Get the most damage ramped up. You just plant a banner on the guy? I hope not. This is going to be cool. This is going to blast it out. You're just taking the momentum built up from one competitor onto the next guy, cloaked by Cole, who's having to burn a cloak, as well as a Vanish backing up out of there very, very quickly. Stony with a blessing of protection, keeping himself alive, keeping himself plenty healthy. Stunned by Cool This. Stony does not have a human racial into a shadowy duel. Gives Cool This an opportunity to maximize the damage while he has basically another set of dances with the shadowy duel, which is quite painful. Hammer hanging over the Hitman's head, but I don't think that gets him out of stealth or anything. So for Ivy, it's going to come down to random volleys, random flare. Hunter's Mark does get the opener with a sniper shot. Smoke Bomb does give Cool This an opportunity to at least make sure he is not going to be taking damage in the open. If Ivy can get himself an angle, Cool This trying to see if he can hide behind the pillar. You kind of have to predict where the Hunter might be. Ivy trying to find an opportunity to reposition, but if you get too close, the Phantom Knives could get you out in the open. Does dive behind the pillar. Wait, hold on. Cool This has no idea, but he's actually dodging the sniper shot so perfectly. He has no clue, but he's doing such a good job avoiding the damage. Ivy with a full true shot, trying to see if he can get himself a setup. Maybe send the pet over behind the pillar. Does send the pet, denying the rogue an easy reset. Stun around the corner. Does shock him. Potentially big damage with an explosive shot. Cloak of Shadows not available. Explosive doesn't really take that much damage actually. That evasion, someone helped to reduce a lot of that explosive shot damage. Was that a feint? Might have just been a feint actually, with a freeze as Ivy taking a bit of hits. As Cool This trying to see if he can reverse the damage. Scatter as soon as he steps. Cheap shot to follow. Ivy might be in a lot of trouble. Charles Shell to follow. Cool This trying to see if he can maximize the damage. Big secret, but does get to escape for just a second. Gouge to the pet. Maybe can even find himself a reset. No longer has a hunch mark on him. The pet keeping you dotted at the very, keeping your auto attack, I guess, at the very least. Ivy is trying to make sure there's quite a bit of distance between him and the rogue. Flare down for a second. Might want to drop down freezing traps. Does have it set up. I don't even know what Cool This. I guess tried to go for a cheap shot sap, but Flare got him out in the open. Aim shot with rapid fire to follow. Cloak of Shadows to dodge a lot of this damage. Death shock him spinning on you. Kidney shot right after. Might be going down though. I don't really know what you can do. Vanish by Cool just to get some cooldowns back really quickly. That's a very aggressive vanish, and now you're kind of stuck out in the open with Wev. I don't think he's going to give you a chance out of this situation at all, right? Into a trinket immediately. Do you have a blind though? Does not have a blind. Gouge though does help him separate away from Wev for just a second with a shadow mill just to get out of that situation as soon as possible. Wev, unless you got him dotted, which he doesn't have him ruptured, he might just have to play into that stealth game. Phantom Knives out in the open. Eyes are available for either side. Cool This down on cooldowns except for a cheat death. So for Wev, if he goes in super aggressive with the eye, if he's, I don't know if he's tracking the man's cooldowns, but if he goes in aggressive with the eye, if you find him, hell, you could pick up the eye, send the vanish, would be a little bit overcommitments because of the cooldowns that you have with it. But if you pick up the eye, find them really quickly, if you're careful around the corner, you might know that he is there. Cheap shot, you're probably fine. Flagellation could turn this around. This Cool This trying to maximize everything into this one. Still does not have defenses though. That sepsis is not going to feel great at all. Cheap shot. I'll try to see if we can maybe get a cheap shot. Evasion for both rogues. Cool This got himself plenty of damage. Wev took a few hits. Still got plenty of defenses. Got a flagellation of his own, I think, after Cool This. I believe so. I think he does. Mad secret technique to follow. Do you have a cheap shot? He needs to make sure that those stones are airtight as best as they can. Be tricky to follow. Cool This with not a lot of health left into a cheat death. That's going to be his last bastion of defense. Unless he got something here. Blind last second. If you can do some blind to get away from Web, you might be alright. Vanish not available for a good bit. The rogue is just chasing after you. Do get a sap? I don't even know how you get a sap with the guy. Hold on a second. I don't even know how you get a proper sap just now. Web might be in a bit of trouble. He got cloak, he got cheat, he got no evasion though. But maybe he lives this? Kidney? Cheat death. That's the only thing that saves you. Does give himself advantage before the cheat death goes off as the guy goes in for a bit of a reset. Cool with a Phantom Nice. Got himself another advantage. Web is out in the open. Got himself a mastery proc. Cool, doesn't end up stepping on him, but ends up putting himself out in the open. Cloak before he can even get an opener. As he goes in for the cheap shot, needs to maintain those stuns. Into a secret, nothing you can do. Web does end up slicing him apart. With next gonna be up next as Next Generation Affliction, is that the name? I actually like it a lot. Web got himself Shadow Blades, but I don't think he's going to be able to go for an entire go here, right? Succubus out in the open. Next Gen. Are you playing Affliction? Are you actual Affliction? Because I can't even tell. You have a Wall, you have a Dark Pact, and a Warlock Hellstone. I don't even know what your cooldowns are. Do you have a Dark Layer? Are you not playing Dark Layer? Is that what Next Generation Affliction means? Get rid of rogues in PvP, so boring? Yo, those rogues, man. They're blasting one another. Yeah, let me just delete rogues out of this one. You know what? If the chat wants no rogue duels at all, we could ban rogues for the night. As long as you have enough bodies. I'm not against it entirely. Web trying to see if his skull, next gen, patiently waiting out in the open, has the eyes that could pick up. Web, I think, is just taking the time to recuperate trinkets, vanishes, everything available. So he's taking a sweet, sweet time right now. But at some point, he might just want to have himself a go. Dampening, slowly rising little by little. It's going to be pretty bad for Web. Also going to be bad for next gen, since Affliction does have quite a bit of self-healing with drains. As long as you have a target, you can drain it off of them pretty easily. Going to be a Shadow Strike, maybe a Succubus. Trying to see if he can send the rogue behind the pillar. Does get to. Succubus is going to come out of stealth though, or out of invisibility. Slow into the rogue, does get kidney shotted. Succubus does catch it really quick. The trinket forced out of the rogue. For next gen, just presses Dark Pact, takes 0 damage from the rogue's opener. Trying to set up another portal. Kicked by the rogue, doesn't end up missing it. Full dots are up. Trying to go for a fear. Is playing undead, so he's going to be able to get out of that fear CC at some point with his undead ratio. But the man is dotted. Taking quite a bit of damage. Look at Web. He's not really recovering super easily. 33% dampening is going to push him back. And if he gets a UA on him, drain. Wait a second. I think the man is just dead. Cloak. Succubus trying to keep him in combat. You might need to pull an advantage here. Try not to. If the Succubus catches a CC on the guy, might just be able to get him that or a Mortal Coil. He doesn't have a trinket. He's still in combat. He'll have to vanish. He got dots. Even with the vanish, he might be in a tough spot. Got himself a Sippy Cup, but he's still out in the open. You can send the Succubus in. Shot if you're around the corner. Maybe it connects. Succubus can catch you. Hold on, he has a line of sight. Succubus actually can see the rogue. Trying to board him from around the pillar. Forcing him on the left side. Succubus can catch him on the others. I think it's just over. He's just going to melt him out. Web's got to have a go. He's got to go now. If you got yourself calm points, go for a full kidney shot, something, anything. You have to make a play. You have to. It's over. The dots are in. Drain Solo's in. Flagellation got him some cheap shot. Cheap death. Trying to keep himself alive barely. Ah, this is why you gotta go. Affliction Warlocks will melt you down. You just gotta go. Gotta be a Harpoon out of the leaf. Up next with the Succubus catching a trinket to follow. That's going to be next gen backing up out of there. Hates a huge heap of damage with a Death Chakram and an explosive. Mortal Coil to help himself recover a little. Got full dots on the pet and can at least drain life off of the pet a little bit. Especially if you got those agonies and multiple targets. That's going to be huge. Full fear on to leave. Got himself almost full dots. Trying to go for a setup with a, what's it called? UA does go for a full UA, juke it out a kick, leave, cannot remove those dots, shot if you're right after, that's a full set of dots on the guy, not much you can do, drain is going to be huge, got himself trying to see if he can pour the Hunter out with a drain, Hunter's left with not a lot, that's going to be Hunter right after, mad damage next, does end up taking it with Chicago up next, running in, big zaps to follow, next gen trying to see if he can recover, does not even reflect or anything for this one, going to be Chicago trying to see if he can catch up a little bit of damage of his own, just needs a couple more hits, and next gen so far has been able to not only tussle with the rogue, but with a survival hunter right after. Man's left with not a lot of health, plenty of maelstrom up for Chicago. Not much you can really do. Interrupted on Shadow. At this point, you're just trying to see if you can survive, but the lasso does get you in those grips. With Jed gonna be up next, trying to have himself go versus Chicago full sepsis. Chicago's gonna have to rotate defenses really early. Does get a wall in between all those stun locks though, which is so good for Chicago. It's still gonna take a lot of damage, but at least you're reducing a huge amount of it. Could go for the Guardian here. Trying to keep the Rogue at bay with a knockback, with a step right after. Chicago just needs another Maelstrom go. Still just taking Eviscerates back to back. Vanish out of the Rogue. Needs to go for the full Guardian. Trying to see if they can rip the Rogue apart, but the Eviscerate doesn't even do anything. My goodness. That is a rough one. Let's see if we can get ourselves another go in here, boys, yeah? Cool with this. Pick it up too. Try to see if we can maybe get these Rogues out of here if at all possible. I'm not thinking...